Hello you gorgeous sexy people of YouTube, welcome back to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for Thai Cave Rescue, a new story in the very much saturated stories that we've had in documentaries and movies of the same story of these soccer kids that get stuck in a cave and have to be rescued. And it's a big epic adventure, but we've had lots of it. So I'm here to talk about whether we actually needed it. Did I enjoy it? Kind of. Let's jump in. TV series that chronicles the rescue of the 12 boys and the soccer coach who were trapped for 2 weeks in flooded caves in Thailand during the summer of 2018. So Amazon dropped a film called 13 Lives, I think, by Ron Howard. It looked incredible, was a 2.5 hour concise film about the same story that we have here, Netflix's new original series of 6 episodes, an hour long. And that's the first thing you're probably going to be asking yourself. Do I need to watch this? Because I've already watched that film, if you have. And that was excellent, harrowing, and emotionally distraught. But I kind of know what's going to happen. I know what's the end game in. I guess it's kind of like watching Titanic. When you watch the film, you know how it ends. Do you need to watch the journey? And the journey really is the story here. And I think for the most part, there are bits that are not explored within that film. So you will find a lot of meat. The first episode specifically kind of centers just on the soccer kids and an individual of them. So we go from each kid, learning a little bit about them. And one of the things I think that makes this series feel more authentic than perhaps some of the others is that they filmed on location, in the cave, in the houses. So it really has an air of authenticity, as well as some of the dialects of the language that they got is all authentic. And so they tried as best as they could. But there's also a word of warning at the beginning, like saying some of the things were altered to make the series what it is. Authentic, yes, but also altered. So bear that in mind when you're watching this story. At the same time, there's a lot of the kid actors in this feel like first-time actors, and I think they probably are. And you really feel that. And at first I thought that was a detriment to the series, where it feels like almost they had gotten the original kids just off the street, you know, people that never acted before, and just put them in front of a camera. This time round, I think that actually works to it, because it almost has that sort of documentary feeling, like it is actually them. So although I feel like, oh, they're not very good actors, but maybe they are actually really good actors, because you feel like they are the kids in the caves not acting. Does that make sense? I think I'm getting my point across. The cinematography was one thing I was worried about. I thought, how are they going to top Ron Howard's film, especially when filming those vistas? And I think when it comes comparison to the film, that's the easiest thing to compare to at the moment, because there's been a number and that's in the limelight and that's recent. Definitely, I think cinematography wise, the film is better, but the underwater shots is where I was surprised by. We have some amazing underwater shots that are really intense, and they showcase what it was like to try and rescue these kids over a number of days, and how the rescuers themselves put themselves in jeopardy and mortal danger trying to save them. But we also spend a lot of time inside the cave, and that's where the story differs here from that of the movie and some of the other recreations that I've seen. We spend a lot of time with what the kids are going through in the cave, what they try to do, how they keep themselves motivated. Really, the unsung hero here is the coach. I mean, everybody that's involved rescuing the kids is amazing, but the coach that keeps them centered, gets them meditating, gets them focused on one thing, keeping them alive, saving oxygen, all of that is showcased in a very harrowing, depressing way. Kind of, because you kind of know the end game, so that there's a certain amount of tension, but you know how it ends as well. I do think it outstays its welcome. An hour-long episode, 6 of these, does take its time. They really draw out all of those conversations, some of which we didn't need to have, some of which could have been sped over. I think this could have been easily 3 episodes, and it still would have been tense. Maybe 4. And, you know, to really kind of give us the background, the characters that they wanted to showcase, some of the English, the British divers, or from around the world, the Australian, you know, this eclectic group of divers that mix with the Navy SEALs, trying to get them to rescue these kids. And I think for the most part, it is well put together, but I do wonder if we needed it. We've had so much of it, the story has been milked to death. It is interesting seeing the take of what happens to the kids in the cave more. But other than that, I don't know that it offers much more in cinematography or storytelling than Ron Howard's one. So there isn't much difference there. I'm going to give this 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5. quick, short, sharp review. There's not much more I can add to it and say other than if you haven't seen 13 Lives, you'll probably enjoy this much. If you have, then you're probably asking yourself, why am I watching this? Nice to get some background with the kids, but I don't know that it needs to exist. Does that make sense? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.